Welcome to Human Design Playtime, the show that discusses the highest potential and the lowest shadows of ourselves and our playmates. We use ourselves as examples and take some bold liberties to discuss public figures, even the celebrities we love to hate. Bring your open mind and a sense of humor. Who knows? We may be talking about you.
Welcome back to Human Design Playtime. Hey, Janet.
Hey, Tammy.
Today, our special celebrity figure who is not our client is Mr. Fred Rogers.
We love you, Fred.
We love you. I remember watching him as a child, and it was really one of my favorite shows. And as I have grown, I realized that he was more impactful than we probably even knew when we were little.
Yes, my parents chose my TV programs for me when I was little, which might be a little different than today. There was not a lot of access like there is today. You can watch anything in the world from a device in your pocket. But back then it was on a black and white TV, usually, maybe color, and channel changes where you have to go over there and turn the dial. Yes,
like three channels. Three channels.
Yes. You had 3 channels?
Yeah, like 4, 5, and 9 or something like that.
We had 2, 4, 5, 7, 11, and 13 was public TV, and he was on the public television channel and public television network. And what I loved about him was he was calm, just really steady and calm. And some might call him boring. But it was a nice presence as a little kid to see somebody really relaxed, talking about difficult things like feelings and hating your brother or sister. How do you deal with that? Problems with parents and teachers, death, racism. He stood with his feet. He sat with his feet in a swimming pool during like desegregating pools and communities. Like he and the black mailman.
Yes.
Their feet in the same pool. Yes.
Yes.
That was terrific. And you're right. Didn't you mention that how much you like the puppets?
I love the puppets. Yes. I love the puppet show and the train going around, and you know how he always came in and he had to change his sweater and change out of his shoes into different like slippers or some shoe. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I just remember that routine that he had each day as he came in and shared with us.
Yeah. Like we didn't subscribe to the current trend, which is no house shoes, no street shoes in the house. But it was fun to watch him put his slippers on. I like that. He had his Mr. Rogers program on for over 30 years.
Really?
And he teamed up with a child psychologist to create the show. And it's reflected in the lessons he taught and how he taught. And today, and again, Tammy said he is not our client. He was not our client, but we do admire him. And Tammy found the best, most accurate birth times we could find on the internet. And we're going to assume they're true or close to it. And even if they're not completely accurate, giving us the perfect reading, we want our audience to learn about the material we're sharing. So you might have some of the same strengths, channels, functions, centers. You might be the same type, energy type. You can still learn from what we're sharing, even if it's not completely accurate, since he's not our client and we don't have his birth certificate and we've not met his mother to find out, is this in fact true? Is this what time he was born? So yes. Let's, do you have anything you want to share about his chart? Is there anything that pops out at you?
Well, I think the first thing that really kind of popped out to me is that he has 2 different emotional waves. So it's interesting that you said that he was that calming force, because sometimes, or as we know, or as we're taught in school, that the people that have the defined emotional intelligence, which is that brown triangle at the right of your chart, you're setting the emotional tone of the environment. And I think that it's really cool to see that he wasn't afraid to talk about the emotions. He has the two different waves. So I actually today grabbed a slide that shows kind of what the different waves look like. And so he would have these two here at the bottom. So the first one is the individual wave, and that's the 39 to the 55. And it is kind of flat, and then it gets excited about something, and then flat, and then might get down about the same thing. It's them processing. It's their process. Nothing wrong with going through their emotions. So somebody with this wave would need to spend time with their creative muse when they're kind of in that low of their wave. And that can be a time that is really creative for them. The other wave that he has is the 36 to the 35. And that is the collective sharing wave. And it's more like, it's like building, and it gets to the top, and something happens that didn't meet their expectations, and they drop way down in their emotions. And then it takes them a little more time to start building back up.
It's great that you have the visual representation, because there might be people that are listening and you look at your own chart and you can really learn a lot with one small piece of information. It takes a while to process it for yourselves.
Yes.
And he really did have that, like you said, that the emotional definition, which means he has a huge a depth of emotional intelligence. And it is big. And perhaps he was aware of how he affects other people. Mm. Whether or not it's true that his demeanor was always quiet and understated and not loud, or he learned to adopt it to manage those huge feelings that can be overwhelming. And he has the heart defined, or the ego defined, which is the other center that sets the pace in the room.
It's the red triangle in the design.
And he has it turned on all the time because he has that tribal line of the materialist, someone who can gather resources for their people. And he was an advocate for children's rights and children's health. Mm-hmm. He even spoke in front of Congress. He was, like you said, not afraid to say what needs to be said, but he did it in such a quiet, understated tone that actually made people get closer and like pull their hair back and listen. What is he saying? Everybody be quiet, because someone quiet is talking. It's either his personality or it was something he developed. And I don't know what it is, but it was very effective, because it's very attention grabbing to be really loud and yell and talk with your hands and, be very emotional and expressive. That's one way to grab attention. He did it a different way.
Yeah. And I've noticed people, and I know that you have the full strength, the 25-51, but I do notice sometimes the people that have the 25 can tend to be a little more soft spoken. And that's in his core essence. So that's very prominent placement in his design. So I would wonder if it would come from there. But the other thing that I wanted to say about the 45-21, that strength that he has, which is the tribal leader, is the 45 is about educating the tribe. And I would say that he felt like children were his tribe.
Yes, and it's his responsibility to teach them, and also their parents.
Yes.
Their parents, because if the parents at the time were not on board with turning that TV on for their kids, unless the mom was passed out on the couch, the kids didn't have access to the TV. Like, it's not like you could just go in your room and get your phone out and watch whatever you want. It was a very different time. I was talking to my kiddo today, and they were like, yeah, I don't know really who Mr. Rogers is. I know you mentioned him. Like, they didn't grow up on Mr. Rogers.
Yes. Yeah. We spent a lot of time as a child with Mr. Rogers. So his career type, he's an express builder, meaning that he can pull things together very quickly, but it doesn't necessarily have a linear fashion. People might have thought that he would be all over the place at times, probably with his ideas. And then his strategy or his decision-making strategy is to respond to life and then respond to life, then wait for clarity, then follow his gut. But I would say with that willpower defined, that he also needed to realize, what's in it for him whenever he was making decisions. What do you think about that? With the defined willpower, do you need to do that?
I don't know if he'd have that. I mean, if he did, it's not visible from who he presented to the public. I
Right.
just think that his 10th trait on his unconscious side, the red side, that would have a huge impact on how he operates, because he's going to come from a place of a stronger conscience, doing the right thing, and like a behavior of the self. Like, he needs to behave in a clear conscience type of way and do the right thing. This is about principles and living and embodying your principles. The underlying code of behavior, which ensures successful interaction despite circumstances, the gate of behavior of the self. Now, that's from the human design perspective, which has a little different language than BG5, which is what Tammy and I often talk about. BG5 is business group 5, speaking about it in business language. I think that has a huge impact on how he operates and why he's even doing what he's doing. Advocacy work. It has a higher purpose and a higher principle. I don't know if it has so much to do with what's in it for me. Maybe it does. Maybe there's a component to it.
And I think that with the willpower, from what I've read, of course, I don't have the defined will. It's important that you take yourself into consideration when you're making your decisions, is, my understanding of it anyway. Group wise, like, he has a lot of penta strengths. So he has a lot of strengths for a small group. He would bring the culture and the reliability in that 15-5 strength that he has, as well as the 29-46 is about the persistence and the determination, the love of the body, the 46. So in a group, the saying yes and making sure that everybody keeps on task and persists, as well as the 46 is what is we learn? It was the like the survival instincts of a small group, that's like coordinating and kind of holding the vibe of the team. Janet and I both have
it together. Yeah. So yeah, Tammy and I have it. It's like keeping the group together. Yeah. Like, we can't help it. Like, it's noticeable when one of us is missing from a small group. It's just, I know I don't see it in myself because I'm not there to miss myself, but I notice when Tammy's gone. And if he was to step out, if Mr. Rogers was to step away from all the project, it would probably crumble.
Yeah, he has a lot of really incredible strengths in his design, as well as traits like the 13, the trait of the listener. So, I think that he showed that in the show. Again, this is all we can really go by, is, how he behaved on TV, which is recorded. So, our perspective could be biased from what it really was. But I thought that it was really interesting because his life work purpose was about love.
Definitely. Yes, love and patience, being patient with
Mhm.
yourself.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So that life work, he had a personal focus. So he was focused on self exploration, facing his own personal challenges. And his purpose was fulfilled through the mind, thinking, educating, conceptualizing, explaining. But the work life theme is love. It's this sense of higher cosmic, transpersonal, and universal love, balanced to humanity's direction or drive to survive and replicate the species. And so that trait 25 in his core essence is about someone who has this spontaneous nature and who loves everything and everyone in an uncontrived and equal way. I think that definitely that shined in the show. Unconsciously, that behavior of the self for his behavior. And then he was grounded in that 46, which is determination. And then the 15 is about diversity. So it's all beautiful traits that really stand out. Like, I feel like we can really see his design in action on that show.
Yes. 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 And he lived it. Like,
Yes.
he turned it into a profession, his life's mission.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so clear cut.
Yeah, it's really beautiful, really, when you look at it. Now, he was a collaborative assimilation. So what that means is, the brown box at the bottom, which is his drive and stamina, was connected to his emotions. And then to his, the brown box at the top, that is communication and action. And those were connected with the red triangle, the willpower. So all of that is one set of functions, one set of energy. And then he had and the yellow in the middle is about identity and direction, was connected to his energy resource. And so what I've read, because I don't have this, I have independent assimilation, but what I've read is people like that have this can sometimes feel like they're two different people. Because they need collective energy or another person to kind of bridge them. They're designed to collaborate. There's nothing wrong with the design. Everybody is designed perfectly for their journey. But I have asked a lot of people who have that collaborative assimilation, do you feel like two different people? And like 99% of the people have been like, yeah, I do feel like two different people. And so the way, if you have collaborative assimilation, the way that you can kind of overcome that and make decisions is, go walk through the mall or, go to a Starbucks or, some kind of coffee shop, a Panera Bread, wherever you have. Picking up collective energy helps you bridge naturally all of your strengths so you can make your decisions in a more complete manner.
Yes. Yes. So you can be around different energies that will give you an experience of your complete self. You can feel the two islands, the two strong little pearls, it's like having two pearl necklaces that are not attached. And being around certain people or animals or locations can make you feel the entire necklace is connected. And like Tammy said, it's not wrong, it's right. It's the design of someone who is destined to work with other people. And for some people, being alone more is better for them, but it just depends on your design. It's fascinating. So that's like why we went to school for this, and we love doing this with people and sharing with them their own chart so they can go experiment with it, come back, reevaluate, ask questions, get a deeper level of commitment, deeper level of understanding for themselves, and then go play, see if this is true or not. You know, we might speak like, we can't speak definitively of, oh, this is the way. Mm-mm. But certainly we've had our own personal experiences for ourselves, our families, our clients, where we see it as so useful. But it does sound like total crazy pants stuff. Your birthday, the location, whatever. I know. Like, this is not how I was raised. I wasn't raised like this. Like, this is, seems like total garbage. Like, what? But it's such cool information. And then move on, and then just keep blossoming into who you are. It's just so neat. And it's fun to see somebody like Mr. Rogers, like this design, I don't think would work the same for somebody like Hitler. If we did Hitler's profile, I'm serious, I've done Hitler's before. It's fascinating. We should do Hitler sometime, but on the podcast, but like show his design, like you do different, it doesn't apply to certain people. I will admit that you could apply this chart to several people you might know, and it might be accurate. Like, hey, I have a friend who has a lot of these same qualities. That's cool, but like it would not really apply very well for certain people if we tried to swap charts.
Yeah, that's because each person is unique. There's no swapping charts. Sometimes I think sometimes people will say, well, how do I fix it? There's nothing to fix. You learn to work with your own design, your own energetic makeup. And it's really beautiful. I onboarded a new client yesterday, and he was just like, as I was talking to him about his design, he was like, that is so accurate. So how you can like look at somebody's chart and then start to really share and understand that person on a deeper level, and help to connect with them and help them make better decisions, more aligned decisions in their life. The other thing that I noticed about Mr. Rogers is his two islands of energy. He would feel like he's a generator, but then also a manifester, because of the connections and how he is designed. So it's really cool that the online presence that he showed us as a kid was so calm and nurturing, with having that ability to really, like the 2145, people can really sometimes misunderstand that strength in people, because it is such a powerful energy. The 21 being about control, the 45 being about, educating the tribe, and it just connecting up to the communication action, the throat, and speaking about that. And sometimes it does not go over very well with other people. And when people have this strength, I hear a lot of people really they don't necessarily struggle, but the people around them sometimes struggle with the leaders that have this. And this is actually a leadership strength. It's the tribal leader strength. We talked about it with Trump, with Trump's design, him having this. So I would say that it very complete night and day personalities with some similar strengths. As Janet just said, the same chart, the same strengths on a different people have this a much different implementation, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And both of those two people you mentioned, Trump and Mr. Rogers, they're both generators. So their outside energy is never going to change. They're always going to be generators or builders. And that is a very specific kind of energy, which is open, warm, and enveloping. But manifestor energy is different. It's dense, it's closed, it's repelling, it's designed to blow through. So having a strength like that as a manifestor will come off as very different than as a generator. Very different. So even if someone has a manifestor strength, but they're classified as a builder or a generator, they never lose their classification as a builder or generator. The way they operate energetically is always going to be the same.
So, your decision-making strategy is way different than the manifestor would be.
Yeah.
But if they're not taught that, they may still think that they can just go out and do it, and they might get a lot of more like
resistance.
Pressure. Yeah, that's it. Resistance. That's the word I was looking for. So I think that that's some of the things in my experience that human design has helped with staying in your own lane. Like if you are an express builder, you need to respond to life. And with Mr. Rogers, sleeping on his decisions, waiting for clarity is a big part of that decision-making process.
Right. And that's actually interesting you brought that up, because we just, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, we did Trump, and he has the emotional wave, and you can see when he doesn't sleep on it and he just blurts things out, and he doesn't take the time to ride the wave of the high feelings up at the top of the mountain. Everything's great. And then come crashing. Everything is terrible. Everybody's to blame, and blah, blah. And everything is great. So emotionally defined people like these charts need to wait out the high highs and the low lows until it's like a slow ripple that is never clear like a placid lake, but it's more clear. So it's really interesting watching people with these defined waves not wait it out, blurt things out that they perhaps could be embarrassed about, and take responsibility or not for what they said or did. But Mr. Rogers clearly has a strategy. Now, if we look at strategy for like being slow and patient in his speech and in his behavior publicly, they're very two different ways of dealing in that. And if you look at Mr. Rogers' chart, I don't think it's visible here, but he has 4 arrows to the left, which we're not going to go into all of it right now. But what that really means is Mr. Rogers is strategic. He has the old type of brain, the old type of body that needs focus, strategy, planning. I don't know what Trump's arrows are, but that would be interesting to look at. But Mr. Rogers is a planner. He is going to have that appearance of like a planned accountant. Let me think this through. Let me plot it through. Let me chart it. Let me gather the right people so that we can get this one strategy. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. Now I want to go back and look at all the charts.
Yes. Additionally, like his profile, or like the outfit you wear in life, is a 2-4. So he's this natural influencer. So the natural is kind of called out for their strengths. They can sometimes be a little bit of a hermit. And then the 4, or the influencer, they get their best opportunities through their network. And so that is who he is on a conscious and unconscious level. He might have thought of himself as a little bit of a hermit, but what people seen in him, and I would say I definitely seen him as an influence. He was an influencer in my childhood.
Right on. We love you, Mr. Rogers.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to say about Mr. Rogers' chart?
I don't. Nothing else is like jumping out at me today. Is there anything else that you want to say about it?
No, it's just a real treat to do somebody like him, do his chart. He's such a great figure. And if you guys out there, you have favorite public figures from long ago, they do not have to be alive. If we can find their closest birth time, we will do it. We will do the chart for you. Just put it in the comments and we'll make it happen. Thank you so much. Thanks
for watching. It was good to see you, Janet. I'll see you guys soon.